Hello YouTube. It's been a while since I've made a video, and it's Boxing Day actually as I'm recording this. So can I just first of all say a very Merry Christmas to everybody, and especially to 74 Susu and particularly to 123 Comic Man. Both of those guys have posted very nice comments on my videos and my channel in the past, and both of those guys have fantastic channels that you should definitely check out. I also want to apologise in advance for my voice. I've unfortunately been struck down by a bit of a kind of flu-y cold over Christmas, which is probably going to annoy you by the end of this video, but I'll do my best to power through. My drink of choice for the evening is a nice pint of real ale here, a pint of speckled hem. Incidentally, the American belief that in England beer is served warm, I imagine they're probably speaking about real ale, which is well, it's not warm, but it's certainly slightly warmer than lager when you serve it out of the tap. So I don't know, might interest a couple of people out there that that's probably what they're talking about. It's real ale should be served, it still should be cool, but it's not quite room temperature like red wine or something. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so I was going to show you a few things in my video tonight. I was going to start off actually with some new comic book acquisitions I've made. These are things I said actually in December I wasn't going to be buying any comic books because I wanted to afford Christmas presents for people. But you know how it goes, and it got to, I was halfway through buying presents. I thought, wow, I'll just treat myself. So anyway, first up we have, it's another Captain Marvel book. It is issue number 26. This particular book is around the 9.0, maybe 9.2 territory. It's a very nice book. Again, I was saying about, excuse me, with Captain Marvel, he's one of those titles that, although the age is there and the kind of the pedigree is there, it's a classic 60s Marvel book. You can still pick them up for great prices, and I know that directly transfers into the fact that they're not seen as collectible, therefore they sell for what they're worth, because obviously the buyers dictate the market with comic books. But still, I mean, I think they're great books, and they look great, and I love the covers, and you can pick up a 1960s issue 26 of a key character for reasonable prices in this kind of condition, and I think it's definitely worth doing. So anyway, Captain Marvel 26. Up next, I'm continuing my my collection of excuse me, Hulk books. We've got issue 111. And again, not a huge amount to say about this book. It's just I'm basically trying to get everything to start off with from 102 to hopefully something like 120, and I'm kind of grabbing them as and when they come on, especially if they're UK-based sellers, which unfortunately the vast majority of them aren't. I'm still looking for a really nice grade 102 that's in a kind of collectible grade that I would get. I mean, this particular one is it's in about a 7.0, something like that, maybe slightly less than what I was going for this particular book, but it's still holding my collection. Unfortunately, again, it's got a UK price stamp on it, which it's going to affect things. I actually don't like to have UK stamps on my books because they're American comic books, and I know that this has been through the UK and everything, and that's just part of its history, but that's not, I don't collect them because they come from the UK. I collect them because they're, sort of Americarama, Anyway, rambling a bit there. Next up, Tales to Astonish book. Excuse me again. Tales to Astonish. I just love these books. I love the split screen covers. This particular one is issue... What issue are we looking at? Issue number 64. Just a great cover. Again, you see what I mean about that UK price stamp? It's in quite a prominent place as well. I mean, they've stamped it straight across that guy's head. It just... I mean, if it was an American stamp, I would be so much happier with it, because... You know, it doesn't quite fit with the kind of the history of the book. But in any case, it's actually a fairly decent condition book. I bought this along with another Tales to Astonish book, which I'm going to show you in a second. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice cover, especially the Giant Man cover there. Yeah, another nice Tales to Astonish book. Kind of a mid to high grade there. Next up, Tales to Astonish number 55, slightly earlier book. This one, you know what I was saying just now about UK stamps on books? Well, this one is even worse. This one actually is a UK price, and I didn't notice until it came through in the post, and then I went back and I looked at the pictures on eBay, and I thought, you're an idiot, Rob. I should have noticed that at the time. You know, my fault. Whatever. I can't complain. I make a point of not buying the UK stamped editions. They're just not as collectible. You know, most price guides will list them as being the equivalent of the US price, but they're just not, because they're not the real thing. You know, well, they are the real thing. They're from the same time. You know, from the same people and everything else, but. You know, I like my authenticity, and I like sense copies, and they are the more collectible versions. So you know, I was pretty stupid, but you know, in any case, it's a contemporary cover, and I'll probably be putting this back on eBay again at some point. But in the meantime, you know, it's still a nice early '60s Tales to Astonish cover, and a nice Giant Man story. Next up is where are we now? Probably 4th or 5th ever CGC book. We have Amazing Spider-Man number 189. And you might be wondering, why did I go for Amazing Spider-Man number 189? I mean, you know, what significance does that have? It's just the fact that this book is a 9.6, which is a nice grade to have. And I picked up this particular book by doing the whole kind of spread bidding thing that I was talking about before. Basically, excuse me, a load of high grade Amazing Spider-Man books came up, all in the kind of the 100s, you know, in terms of issue number, and I put a reasonably low bid on all of them, and just kind of wait to see if one of them kind of fell to me, and evidently again this one was kind of overlooked, and I picked it up, so I got it for a great price, and for a 9.6 it actually has quite a decent overstreet value attached to it, and you know, it's a great cover, you know, it's just worth having, you know, it's a nice CGC book. This particular, you know, storyline, you know, I should probably get hold of the actual thing and start to read it. Any books like this, I'll probably pick up a kind of a mid-grade thing and stick it in my regular collection as well, because I would like to be able to read the book at the end of the day. Excuse me. So they are my my comic purchases, but also, as you know, it's Boxing Day, so that means that it was Christmas Day yesterday, and I asked for a couple of things for Christmas, a couple of books to do with comic book collecting, and I will get to the first one now. First one is 1000 Comic Books You Must Read. This is a book that I just came across on Amazon, and I thought I'd ask for, because my problem with comic book collecting is that I've been into it for a few years, but it's been all about the collecting and not so much about the reading. And although I read current books, and I'm kind of generally up to date on what's going on with, well, certainly Marvel at the moment, and I'm roughly aware of sort of the major storylines and everything else, I'm woefully underinformed when it comes to actually knowing backstories about things. So I thought I'd pick up this book because it's from sort of the 1930s up to the present, and it's just giving a brief synopsis of each book that this guy who's put this book together has basically just said, these are some great books that you can look at buying and reading. And obviously a lot of this stuff is I mean, he lists like Action Comics #1 in here, so obviously people are going to be picking up reprint versions or online versions or whatever. But certainly, for actually reading the story's point of view, I thought this would be a good thing to get, because it's nice to flick through this kind of book anyway, if you're just kind of sitting around. But it's also nice to see what's out there and what I can maybe get into, and so I'll understand a bit more when I'm looking at, for example, YouTube videos of other people and they're referring to things that I have no idea what they're talking about. The next book that I asked for was the Marvel Encyclopedia, the updated and expanded version. Now this is a great book. I mean, it's pretty big. I have to stand up to take it in there. Now this is basically an A to Z of Marvel characters. And I mean, for example, I happen to open it at Captain America here, and he gets like 3 double-page spreads. But going through the most interesting point about this book, and I've seen another YouTuber say this in his video review of the book. The most interesting thing is just finding these random characters that have cropped up in Marvel books over the years, and just finding out where they came from and what their history was. And sometimes you can find some really sort of very terrible ideas for characters in here. So you got like Mr. Fantastic. Obviously he gets a double-page spread, but it's a great looking book, and there's amazing illustrations and a lot of interesting stuff in there. See Red Skull, and there's loads of people I haven't heard of that seem to be quite major characters. So it's just another really interesting sort of reference book. And as I said, I'm trying to get more into the whole reading side at the moment. So that's definitely good for me now. Right, let's move on. The last book, and I'm trying to think how I'm going to open this actually now with the with the camera in my hand. This is Marvel Chronicle. It's a year-by-year history of Marvel, from sort of timely Atlas Marvel, and kind of what was going on with their major characters at the time. Now, it's in this amazing dust jacket. I'm probably going to have to put the camera down for 2 seconds while I put it out, so bear with me. Okay, so this is the dust jacket that's come off. This is a big chunky thing here. The actual cover itself is this giant M shape. It's just an awesome looking book. It's so smart. It's basically, as I said, it's a history of Marvel, with some great big pictures running. Okay, well, opened in 1950 here, but it does start earlier. Running through literally year by year up to the present, with what was going on at the time. Obviously, a huge amount of focus on the 60s, as that's where a lot of the heroes were introduced or reintroduced from old Golden Age characters. But there's just so much to take in, and if you're interested at all in comic book history and you're a Marvel collector, I would really, really recommend picking up a copy of this book. It's just an amazing thing to own anyway, because it's such a cool looking thing. But it's one of those books as well, you start reading and you just get sucked into, and I'll be sitting there all evening just kind of picking up on these things that I didn't know anything about. So anyway, those are the things I picked up for Christmas. I hope you found that interesting. I really, I'm sorry about the fact that my voice is a bit screwed up at the moment, and I keep coughing. As I said, I've not been that well recently. Hopefully I'll get better soon. And my next video I was hoping to put up, because this is something that 123 Comic Man picked up on, is how you actually catalogue your collection. I know he uses a computer program for it, and I actually use a Mac, so that program doesn't work for me. But I was going to show how I keep tabs on all of my collection, and how I go about cataloguing it on my computer and things like that. So that'll be my next video. But I would really like to see what you guys got for Christmas. So please post that below, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Okay, bye.